My name is River Yeo. I am a nurse and GAPS practitioner. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've seen a lot just randomly through the social media that I browse on Facebook and YouTube, some of the fertility support groups out there and things like that. People have been talking about, should I try to conceive? And I think most people, when they're trying to conceive, they are doing all the things at the same time, like just doing it all at the same time. And it can be exhausting, it can be emotionally draining, it can be physically draining. To be trying to conceive, you decide, okay, we're gonna go for it, we're gonna try to have a baby, and another month goes by, and it's just, the suspense is killer, man. And it can be devastating, particularly if you're doing the allopathic methods that medicine has to offer. You're hormonal, you're just going in and out of cold, sterile, white, glaring, fluorescent light environments, getting injections, taking medications, getting probed and prodded, and oh my goodness, it's exhausting. I can't imagine going through that. Maybe you're someone who has gone through that before. My heart goes out to you. And no one can tell you when is the right time or how is the right way to go about this. It's your family, it's your decision, But I just want to bring into the discussion some thoughts that you may want to consider. Not a lot of people talk about, or at least I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. And that is, there is a period of time where you can prepare for conception. And between trying, you might feel like it may be right for you to take a season to prepare. And that during your preparation, you're just preparing. And then during your time where you're saying, I'm ready to conceive, then you're just trying. And there's something about taking a break for a season to work on your health and your body, to maybe detox some chemicals that you don't realize may be lurking there, maybe throwing off your hormones, causing inflammation, maybe causing more risk potentially for the baby you're bringing into this world. Now, babies are incredibly resilient. I personally witnessed so many babies born from terrible circumstances where the mom was on drugs or pharmaceutical medication, or just coming out of a really rough spot where there was a lot of negative emotions happening throughout the pregnancy. And I've seen those little babies just fight and be strong, even though they were super premature or had all these issues, and go through detox, which no baby should have to do, and get through it on the other side and be just fine. And that is miraculous and amazing. And babies are not fragile. However, on the other hand, it is within our power to do something to make their little lives easier. And depending on where you're coming from, what your health is like, what your parents and your grandparents' health is like, it may make sense to sort of boost your health, to clean out your life, to prepare yourself to have a much easier pregnancy and be able to carry that baby easier with more nourishment in your body, and you'll feel a lot better potentially. So why might you do this? To take some time to detox, to get some of that stuff out of your body. Maybe you're not detoxing off drugs, but maybe you didn't realize till just now that there are toxins in our environment all over the place, in our tap water, and you didn't have a water filter, in the Teflon pans that are in your kitchen, and you didn't realize that there was leaching into your food. Maybe there's a ton of scented candles and fragrances and lotions and potions that fill up your kitchen and your bathroom toiletry cabinet, and you didn't realize there's a bunch of toxic chemicals in there that just absorb right through your skin straight to your bloodstream. And maybe you didn't realize that there are carcinogenic, dangerous chemicals in almost all processed food on the shelf, even processed food that is marketed to us as being healthy, clean, organic, and natural. Most people don't realize that. So if you have realized it or are interested in learning more about that, you can check out the Weston A. Price Foundation's website. They have a lot of great stuff, or you can look at more of my YouTube videos. But essentially, many of us, including myself, grew up with these processed foods, with these chemical cleaners and lotions and potions all over the place. Didn't have a clue. And so these things sort of built up in my body over time and contributed to a lot of minor issues that I didn't necessarily relate to fertility until I learned about like the pathology and how these things could potentially affect my future baby. And there's studies out there where they took the cord blood from babies, because cord blood banking is super popular these days, and they analyzed that cord blood, and there were thousands of harmful chemicals in there. Things like Teflon from pans or all kinds of crap. So can babies get through that and live a fine life? Probably yes. But it may be worth considering, depending on your situation, taking some time to just sort of recoup your body. And it will not only be easier on the baby, but it will be easier on you. You'll be a lot healthier, happier, more energy throughout your pregnancy and probably your labor and delivery and postpartum. So yeah, detoxing, all that crap. Another reason that it may behoove you to take some time to just work on yourself for a while could be to boost the nourishment in your body. And I'm not talking about prenatals, even though those are great, and for some people that floats their boat. A lot of our gut linings these days are becoming poorer and poorer as we've gone through multiple cycles of antibiotics in our lifetime. Our parents went through multiple cycles of antibiotics. There's antibiotics in our meat from whatever farm they were on. They were pumped full of antibiotics. There's a lot of microbiome disturbance these days in our culture, in our communities. And by that I mean microbiome is basically just the community of microbes that live inside you and are actually 90% of the cells in your body are your microbiome. They're not actually you. They're little guys living in you. So long story short, if your microbiome isn't healthy, then a lot of things go out of whack. Number one, your hormones go out of whack because endocrinologists have described your microbiome as being like the primary master endocrine organ. So if all those little guys managing your hormones in your gut are imbalanced, are struggling, have been wiped out by antibiotics, then your hormones are going to be out of whack, and that's no good for pregnancy and emotions and a lot of things, acne, all kinds of things. So that's one thing to consider. Another thing that your microbiome does, it helps to process and digest your food so that your body can more easily absorb it. So if your microbiome is poor, you're not going to be fully absorbing all of your nutrients that are so important for you to be stocked up on, so that when you get pregnant, you'll have plenty of extra nutrients to help feed both you and the baby. There are a lot of very specific foods that you should be eating to prepare for pregnancy, and if you're already trying and while you're pregnant, a lot of them are described in Sally Fallon Morell's book, which I can put a little picture of if you want. I really don't recommend this book right off the bat to everyone because depending on your temperament, You might not like her. She comes off as a little bit aggressive and abrasive and everyone should do it this way, which she's very passionate and I love that about her. But if you're reading it and you're a certain kind of person, you might feel a little pushed around. But she describes a lot of amazing, very specific descriptions of not just nutrition, but a lot of other things. But things like liver, egg yolks, bone marrow, bone broth, meat stock. I prefer meat stock to bone broth myself, and things like that. We need a lot of saturated, healthy fats and cholesterol. It's very important, especially for the fatty organs, which are your endocrine system. It's very important for fertility. And there are some food-based supplements that are very important and helpful. And so I go over those with my clients and in my course as well for people who are looking for that. And yeah, so microbiome, super important, very important. And as your microbiome is getting rebalanced, it's possible there's a bunch of yeast in there taking up space, maybe a bunch of bad bacteria, some mold. So if you're going to be killing off all that yeast and mold and chelating a bunch of toxic metals, it can be a bit distressing. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. And if you're growing a baby, that's also hard work. So to do both things at the same time, it doesn't always work out for the best. So ideally, we want to do detoxing toxic metals and bad yeast and bad bacteria before we are trying to conceive. Ideally. The world is not perfect, and sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. But if you have the time and you have the space in your plan and your hopes and dreams and when you decide that you want to have a baby, these are some things to consider. So if you have any questions about specific things I mentioned, you can comment below. If you have any comments about things that you did to prepare for conception, you can comment those also. If you are interested in going through like a 3-month gut reset course, which I call the GAPS journey, that's available right now and starting in January, so you should totally check that out on my website. And yeah, so if you want to support my channel, you can do that by giving me a thumbs up, subscribing, clicking the little bell button, and commenting below. Can't wait to continue the conversation.